Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Dami Shukri along with my good mates Mazli, Adika and Adiba. Today we will be presenting a significant challenge faced in Malaysia, the determination of fasting and Hari Raya days. Join us as we delve into the complexities, impacts of this issue. As we already know the issue, the proper determination of these dates, however, become a significant source of the concerns for the nation in recent years, sparking discussion and the disputes within the Malaysian culture. According to an article by Shahrin Aizat in Malay Mail, the date of fasting and Aidilfitri, which is the first day of Shawwal, has been a subject of concern. Malaysia relies on the moon sighting, which is Ruqyah, and the astronomical calculation called as Hisab. This leads to the discrepancies in the celebration of Aidilfitri. Last year, Malaysia celebrated Aidilfitri one day earlier due to the new moon sighting. Do you still remember the chaos and havoc to get ready for Raya last year? This year, conflicting statement has caused uncertainty surrounding of the date, highlighting the challenge of the determining religious dates. In this video, we have provided a brief overview of the challenge surrounding the determination of the fasting and Hari Raya dates in Malaysia. Therefore, we invite you to stay tuned as we delve into this topic.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Atika. Now I would like to present on the article Crescent Visibility and Hijri Calendar, the limitation of the medical erudition by A.M. Hamzah and Karim Mezian. We will explore the complexity involved in predicting visibility of the crescent moon and its implication for the Hijri calendar. To begin with, the timing of the daily prayer and the start of lunar Hijri month are determined by the position and visibility of the sun and the crescent moon respectively. However, predicting crescent visibility presents several technical challenges. Factors such as atmospheric condition, the reflection and transmission of light, and the need for the naked eye observation complicate the process. Scientists need to address celestial mechanics problem and employ high-performance computing to improve the accuracy of predictions. Furthermore, only relying on a real-time observation for a calendar based on a crescent visibility is impractical. The article explains that while there is an understanding of the moon system, accurately predicting atmospheric conditions remains complex. This leads us to the needs for a comprehensive approach that combines computing atmospheric conditions and naked eye observation to better understanding the uncertainties involved in predicting the visibility of the first crescent. The article also introduced the concept of the crescent visibility curve, which was used in the past by Muslim astronomers to predict crescent visibility. However, this curve lacks physical justification and consistency. It does not properly address the effect of the observation by binocular and telescope or uncertain atmospheric conditions during biological Earth-Moon-Sun configuration. This challenge makes it difficult to create an accurate Hijri calendar based solely on geometrical argument. The work of Malaysian astronomer Muhammad Ilyas is worth mentioning as he developed the concept of the lunar deadline LDL. The LDL serves as reference for determining the monthly sequence in Hijri calendar, separating regions where the lunar crescent can be seen from the region where it remains invisible. However, selecting a visible criterion is necessary for the LDL to be practical, resulting in multiple LDL based on different criteria. While the LDL reflects the eastward motion of the moon, it can be unreliable and misleading under a critical condition.
In this part, I will explain about moon sighting and astronomical calculations. The issue of determining the dates for fasting and Hari Raya is an important event for Muslims around the world. So, what exactly is meant by moon sighting? Seeing the moon, also known as Ruqyah or Ru'yah, involves visual observation of the crescent moon to mark the beginning of the lunar month. It is practice recommended the Islamic tradition. Based on the sighting of the moon sighting committee or competent and responsible individual in each region must play an important role in determining beginning of the Islamic month. They rely on observation with the united eye or a telescope to confirm vision. There is a hadith or saying of the Prophet Muhammad about seeing the moon, which is, fast if you see it, which is the moon, and break your fast if you see it. This is emphasized the importance of visual evidence to determine the beginning and end of the fasting months. Another hadith also states, if you see the new moon, then fast and break your fast if you see it. This narrative emphasizes reliance on the actual sighting of the moon. Astronomers such as Ibn Tariq, Al-Khwarizmi, Ibn Yunus and also Al-Tusi is understood to have contributed a lot with their expertise in creating the process of seeing the moon. According to him, the criteria for the possibility of al-ru'yah being applied in Malaysia started from the Conference of Children of the month of the World Islamic Countries. It's held from 27 to 13 November 1978 in Istanbul. The moon is said to be visible, which is not less than 5 degrees above the horizon, and the elongation angle for the moon and the sun is not less than 8 degrees, which is the resolution reached through the conference. After that, what about astronomical calculations? How does it contribute to the determination of important dates? So, astronomical calculations are scientific predictions about the visibility of the moon. It considers various factors such as the position of the moon, age, altitude, and also relationship with the sun. These calculations help estimate the start of the new months and important dates. In case where sightings of the moon are difficult due to weather or geographical conditions, astronomical calculations provide a valuable tool for estimating important dates. According to Al-Khattabi and Al-Dawudi, astronomical calculations are required by the Sunnah to be done if the weather is cloudy on the 29th of Sha'ban. In conclusion, moon sightings and astronomical calculations play an important role in determining the dates of fasting and Hari Raya. Moon sighting means determining the beginning of the month based on the physical sight of the moon with the naked eye or using a telescope. Astronomical calculations are simply methods of astronomical and mathematical calculations to predict the movement of the moon and sun. So, Muslims use a combination of these two methods, which is the method of looking at the moon, the preferred method to determine the beginning of the new month directly, while astronomical calculations are used as a tool to set important dates, especially when looking at the moon is difficult due to weather conditions or geographical location. Next, I will pass to the next presenter that will present the content of celebrating Ramadan one day earlier than the rest of Malaysia.
Next, I would like to discuss the article titled The Twin Keys of Perak and Johor Celebrating Ramadan one day earlier than the rest of Malaysia in 1983 by James. This article shed light on the discussion and speculation surrounding the celebration of Hari Raya Aidilfitri in Malaysia. The article begins by highlighting a viral WhatsApp message in 2022 suggesting that Muslims in Malaysia will celebrate Hari Raya a day earlier than intended. However, the former Religious Affairs Minister clarified that the official announcement regarding the date of 1st Shawwal can only be made by the Conference of Rules through the Keeper of the Rules seals. This uncertainty surrounding the dates of Hari Raya and Ramadan is not new in Malaysia, as efforts have been made in the past to establish uniformity throughout the country. The article takes us back to 1983 when the states of Perak and Johor celebrate Ramadan and Hari Raya one day earlier than the rest of Malaysia. This incident caught the attention of Dewan Raya, and the Prime Minister, which is Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, expressed disappointment over the lack of adherence to agree upon method for determining the start of Ramadan and Shawwal. The article explained two approaches used to determine the new month which is the traditionalist approach, which relies on sighting the crescent-shaped new moon with the naked eyes, and the modernist approach, which combines ruqyah, which is sighting of the new moon, and hisab, which is astronomical calculation. Malaysia employed a combination of methods known as Imakno Ruqyah since 1992. However, prior to this, debates arose among Muslim scholars regarding the best method, leading to discrepancy between Asian countries and Malaysian states. In 1983, Perak and Johor celebrate Hari Raya one day early despite the previous announcement to use hisab for uniformity. This incident prompted the Malay ruler to assign the determination of the days to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, ensuring uniformity across the country. This decision aligned with the authority granted to the Conference of Rulers in the Federal Constitution.
Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. My name is Nurul Mazlin and my student ID is 20208-2146. So, today I will present my part, which is the determination of fasting and Hari Raya holidays that is highlighting the view of Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi from the perspective of astronomy. In this article, I see that the determination of the beginning of fasting and the day of celebration is based on Islamic law. Islamic law refers to the diverse legal system that have been and continue to be produced with the objective of being in accord with the Islamic faith. For our information, determination of fasting and holidays is a matter of great importance in Islamic practice. It involves various methods including visual sighting, calculations, and completing 30 days of fasting. And today, we will delve into the perspective of Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi on this issue from an astronomical standpoint. Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi favors the use of astronomical calculations known as Hisab al-Falak as a means to determine the beginning of fasting and the day of celebration. He believes that this calculation rooted in Islamic jurisprudence because it is of a greater accuracy compared to visual sightings. But why does he hold this view? Alright, so to understand Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi's perspective, let's explore the three methods for determining the important dates. So for the first is the visual sighting of the crescent moon known as Ruqyah, and the second is completing 30 days of Sha'ban, the month preceding Ramadan, when the crescent is not visible, and lastly the use of astronomical calculation to predict the crescent known as Hisab. Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi derives his insight from authentic hadiths such as those narrated by Abu Hurairah and Ibnu Umar. These hadiths provide guidance on fasting and Eid celebrations, stating that Muslims should fast during Ramadan and break their fast when the crescent of Shawwal is seen, or complete 30 days of Sha'ban, which is fast when you see the crescent of Ramadan and break your fast when you see the crescent of Shawwal. If it is obscured from view, then complete these 30 days of Sha'ban, and this hadith is narrated by Abu Hurairah. And the second hadith is, do not fast until you see the crescent, and do not break your fast. Celebrate it until you see the crescent. If it is cloudy, then estimate the crescent, and this hadith is narrated by Ibnu Umar. According to Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi, this hadith emphasizes the objective of fasting throughout Ramadan. He considers the method, or they call it wasila, as a means to determine the month of fasting and the day of celebration. If you want to know, the visual sighting or ruqyah was more convenient during the time of Prophet Muhammad, when the community was predominantly illiterate. However, in today's technological era, Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi believes that using astronomical calculations or Hisab Falak is a more suitable approach. This calculation takes into account the movements of the moon and the sun, as well as the observer's position on Earth, making them more accurate and accessible. So, it is important to note that Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi is not alone in advocating for the use of astronomical calculations. There are scholars like Dr. Muhammad Mustafa Al-Maraghi, Sheikh Ahmad Muhammad Shakir, and Sheikh Ali Al-Tantawi also support this method. They provide documents and evidence from Islamic law that reinforce the validity of Hisab Falak. By embracing Hisab Falak, Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi believes that discrepancies of up to 3 days between different countries regarding the start of fasting and the day of celebration can be avoided. This method offers accuracy and uniformity, ensuring that Muslims worldwide observe these dates in unison. In conclusion, Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi's perspective on determining fasting and the day of celebration highlights the significance of astronomical calculation is Hisab Falak. By leveraging this modern approach, we can achieve several important outcomes. So, for the first is, the use of Hisab Falak offers greater accuracy and precision in determining the beginning of a lunar month. Secondly, Hisab Falak promotes uniformity and unity among Muslims worldwide. Regardless the geographical location, Muslims can refer to the calculated dates, fostering a sense of togetherness and shared experience. And lastly, the use of astronomical calculations aligns with the principle of Islamic jurisprudence, and it is combined scientific knowledge with the teaching of Islam, demonstrating the compatibility between faith and the reasons.
The beginning and the ending of Ramadan fasting and the subsequent Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebration in Malaysia are heavily influenced by religious authority such as the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, known as JAKIM, and the state religious departments. Their role is crucial in overseeing the religious affairs and practices of Muslims in the country. However, determining the exact dates for these significant religious events has faced challenges due to the discrepancies in the moon sighting and the astronomical calculation. According to a news article titled Sunnah Science to Determine Months, written by Azizi in 2019, religious authorities often face confusion when the ancient lunar sighting method conflict with the contemporary calculation. The reliance on eye sighting on the crescent moons, known as hilal, can lead to the discrepancies. Even a cloudy night may extend Ramadan or delay Hari Raya by a day. Unlike the Gregorian calendar, the Islamic calendar follows the lunar cycle, which is 29 or 30 days, coinciding with the birth of the new moon. This complexity raised the question of whether to take the traditionalist or the modernist approach. To determine the start of the lunar month, religious authorities in Malaysia utilize a combination of observation, known as ruqyah, and calculation known as hisab, guided by Imkan or ruqyah criteria agreed upon the state in the informal meeting of the Minister of Religious Affairs from Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, known as MABIMS. This approach involves considering variables such as the sighting of the new moons and the astronomical calculation. Astronomers and expert scholars collaborate in this process, working towards a unified and standardized system for determining when the Ramadan begins and ends. It is essential to promote unity and harmony in the Muslim community, especially regarding the dates of the Ramadan and Hari Raya. Disagreement between religious authorities and specific communities can lead to the confusion and challenge in planning social events, managing religious gatherings, and coordinating schedules within families and communities. To address this challenge, ongoing dialogue and cooperation among religious authorities and the scholars play a crucial role. By engaging in discussion and collaborative effort, they can work towards striking a balance between the traditional practice of moon sighting and the use of the astronomical calculation. This collaboration fosters understanding, promotes cooperation, and ensures adherence to to share standards within the bounds of the religious teachings and scientific principles. This concerted effort towards unity and harmony in determining the dates of Ramadan and Hari Raya is not only essential for the religious experience of the individuals and the communities, but also facilitate better planning and coordination of social events, religious gatherings, and family schedules. It helps to avoid conflict and ensure that Muslims in Malaysia can come together in a synchronized manner to observe this significant religious occasion. Through the establishment of the national moon sighting communities and the formulation of the rule for moon sighting and astronomical calculation, cooperative initiatives have been introduced to promote a greater harmony and reduce confusion. These initiatives strive to create unified, standardized system for determining the dates of Ramadan and Hari Raya across the whole nation. In conclusion, by understanding the complexity of the lunar sighting and the astronomical calculation, we can appreciate the difficulty faced by the religious authorities in determining the dates of the Ramadan and Hari Raya in Malaysia.
For conclusion, the issue of determining the dates of fasting and Hari Raya in Malaysia requires careful consideration of the limitations of mediocre erudition, the challenges of seeing the moon, and the potential offered by astronomical calculations. Furthermore, Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi's visions emphasize the importance of efficient science in astronomy, celebrating Ramadan one day earlier than the rest of Malaysia, and the involvement of religious authorities in finding a balanced approach is also a consideration to reduce issues in determining the dates of fasting and Hari Raya. With this, Malaysia can create closer unity and harmony in the celebration of this important religious festival. That's all the presentation from our group. Thank you.